Okay, here's the second part of our duck video. The first part was our duck breast. The duck fat that you held on to when we were rendering out the breast is now going to come into play. It's going to come into play a few different times here, but we're going to talk about doing duck confit. This is a duck thighs. Now, this is a great application for the duck thighs that you can keep in your freezer and pull out any night of the week. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get a bowl, and you're going to have a mixture of things. So you're going to want 3 tablespoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar, about 2 tablespoons of cracked black peppercorns, tablespoon of crushed bay leaves, 4 garlic cloves that have been crushed. You mix those together. Once you mix all those together, you're going to want to rub them pretty thoroughly all over your duck thighs and let them sit in the refrigerator for about 24 hours. After your duck thighs have been curing for 24 hours in the refrigerator, you're going to want to take them and you want to rinse off all the excess salt in these spices. Okay, after we've washed our duck thighs, we're going to be cooking them in duck fat for an extended period of time. So we want to go ahead and blot off as much moisture as we possibly can to dry them out. In our previous video, we talked about rendering out all that delicious duck fat from the duck breasts. If you held on to it, perfect. You might not have enough duck fat to actually cover the thighs with, but that's okay. If you don't have enough, supplement with olive oil or canola oil. What will happen is that the duck fat will render out of the thighs and incorporate into the rest of the oil, and eventually you'll end up having a ton of duck fat, as long as you keep it in the refrigerator. So now we're going to go ahead and put our thighs into an appropriate sized container. Here I have a cast iron roasting pot. I've melted down that duck fat already, and I'm just going to pour enough fat over the top of it just to cover it. So now we're going to go ahead and put into a 300-degree oven. And we're going to cook this for about 2.5 to 3 hours. Really what we're looking for here is the meat to just kind of release from the bone. Cook it nice and gentle, no rolling boil. After about 3 hours of slowly cooking at 300 degrees, we have our finished duck here. We've let it rest just a little bit to cool down, but as you can see off the bone here, the skin right around the drumstick is pulled back a little bit, slowly cooked. So now at this point, you can do one of two things. You can have it for dinner right now if you let it cool down just a little bit. It goes great with something like either squash or sweet potatoes or Brussels sprouts, because it's a pretty luxurious, rich meal. Or you can go ahead and let this chill completely in the refrigerator with the fat covering it, and you can either put it into a Ziploc bag and put it into the freezer and it'll keep about 6 months, or if you keep it completely submerged, any of that meat has to be completely submerged in the fat. It'll stay for about a month like that, because no oxygen can actually get to the meat. So it's a great way of preserving and enjoying something like this later on. In the meantime, carefully take out our thighs here, nice and crisped up, carefully straining. Get to enjoy that. One more tip, make sure to strain and keep the duck fat in the refrigerator. You can keep using that over and over again. The recipe will be on the blog. And Merry Christmas to you and your family, guys. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.